Welcome back to the channel, and if this is your very first time tuning in, I'm Mr. Empower of Mr.EmpowerTV, and in today's video we're breaking down a story that shows just how quickly diplomacy can shift. The United States has officially removed Mali from its visa bond list, ending a rule that could have forced Malian travelers to face visa bonds between $5,000, $10,000, and even $15,000 US dollars just to get a visitor visa. So in this episode, we'll unpack why Mali was added, why it was removed in record time, and what this means for other African nations still facing U.S. travel barriers.
Marking a thaw in ties, the US has removed the West African nation from its contentious visa bond list. The Trump administration had imposed conditions for travellers from Mali to post a bond of up to $10,000 to obtain a US visa. The list included several other African nations. The US said that the visa bond imposed was based on the overstay rate mentioned in the Department of Homeland Security's report. The move was aimed at ensuring that the visitors returned to their home countries. Mali was added to the list on October the 8th, and the curbs were set to come into effect on October the 23rd. However, the latest update list released by the US State Department did not include Mali. It had 6 other African countries. These include Mauritania, Tanzania, the Gambia, Malawi, and Zambia. Their visa bond requirements implementation dates range from August to October of 2025. Citizens from these nations would be required to deposit a bond of up to $15,000 to obtain a B1 or B2 US visa. These are non-immigrant visas for foreign nationals visiting the country for business, tourism, vacation, or medical treatment. The US policy change followed a tit-for-tat move from Bamako. Mali announced reciprocal measures for Americans, requiring them to post a $10,000 bond to get visas to visit the country. These measures came into effect on October the 12th. Mali also accused Washington of targeting Malian citizens unfairly.
In accordance with the principle of reciprocity, Mali has decided to introduce an identical visa program imposing the same conditions and requirements on U.S. nationals as those applied to Malian citizens.
In recent years, Mali has rejigged its international alliances. It has demonstrated a willingness to respond forcefully to external policy pressure, and the retaliatory move aligned with its policy, sending a message that the country would not accept unilateral measures. The visa bond policy was part of a crackdown launched by the Trump administration on illegal migrants. The US has also struck deals with several African nations to take migrants deported by the Trump administration. Mali is not among the signees.
All right, guys, so as we've seen, back in August 2025, State Department reviewed a visa bond pilot program that was first drafted in 2020, targeting countries with high overstay rates, limited identity verification systems, right? So this policy allowed consular officers to decide themselves and require certain travelers to post refundable bonds at those limits that we said, 5K, 10K, or 15K US dollars, right, under Form I-352, and it was paid electronically through pay.gov, right? And Mali was one of those several African countries designated, and the others listed like Mauritania, Sao Tome and Principe, Tanzania, Gambia, Malawi, and Zambia. So the goal that they said was to improve compliance, right? And, many of us think that, it was discriminatory against African nations and discouraged legitimate travel, right? So that act of reciprocity by the Malian government shows that when the U.S. citizens have the same consequences as international travelers due to those visa bond reciprocity limits, then change can happen quickly, right? So it seems to me that there were many specific travelers or deemed important travelers by the U.S. that were facing these high visa bond limits the $10,000 reciprocity put in place by Mali, right? And so it was walked back in record time, right? And for Malians, this reversal means a lot. No more visa bond deposits when applying for U.S. visitor visas. So it restores, access for students, business travelers, and families without an extra 15K financial hurdle, right? Because just think about it. If you're going on vacation, you're going on a business travel exploratory event to get into school, you're going to need money. You're going to need hotel stay. You've already purchased your flight to and from. You need food, expendable cash to explore and enjoy the U.S. when you travel. And to have 15K deposited to pay.gov, and I'm unsure of the refund turnaround, but it's my thought that the refund could take, a few weeks, especially depending on how many travelers are utilizing or would have been utilizing that visa bond program at the time, right? So that act of reciprocity shows that diplomatic pressure can work, right? So it essentially forced Washington to reconsider that visa bond limit in record time. And just looking ahead, I think this decision could become a model for how smaller nations negotiate with big powers. So when we're looking at countries that are facing total bans right now, right? So Eritrea, Cameroon, Sierra Leone, we're looking to restore those travel privileges, and the U.S. is looking to improve overstay rates, right? So they can look into data sharing or adopt stronger travel documentation systems, right? They could be next to have those restrictions lifted. But the larger message here is about reciprocity, right? So as African nations continue to follow this model, I think that we will see more fair and balanced travel policy on both sides, right? I think that this move signals a strong shift towards mutual respect in how the U.S. will handle African migration and mobility. So in this situation, I wouldn't see it as a tick for tat, but an act of reciprocity to say that forcing Malian citizens and other African nations to pay these exorbitatory visa bond fees, especially when we think about the conversion rate, this could be multiple years' salary in some countries, right? That 15,000 USD. So what do you guys think, family? Was this just the U.S. correcting a diplomatic misstep, or are we witnessing real change in how Africa is treated in global policy? So please don't forget to drop your thoughts below. And don't forget, if you enjoy this message, please do like, share, and subscribe. I'm Mr. Empower, Mr. Empower TV. And until next time, peace.